Good day, grade 11s. Today we will look at finding the equation of a line given its inclination. Okay, we know that by now that the gradient gives us the inclination of the line, and then also the inclination gives us the gradient of the line. So today we are going to make use of this because we are looking for the equation, and you know that to find the equation we need to have the gradient. And then we are going to use this equation to find the equation of the line. And then the relationship between the gradient and the inclination is this one that we have established earlier. Okay, so let's look at the first example. It says find the equation of PQ. Now if you check by P, we have a coordinate, and then by Q we don't have a coordinate, so we cannot find the gradient of the line using this. Okay, so that means we have to find the inclination of PQ using these angles that we have. So in short, if you can see that your diagram has angles, it tells you that you have to find the third angle. There's always going to be three angles here, so you have to find the third angle to be able to find inclination of all the lines that are involved. As you can see, 74 is the inclination of RQ, and then it means that so this one at the top is just the angle between the two lines. It's not an inclination of anything, so we need the inclination of PQ. Okay, so that's what I did. So I let the inclination of PQ be alpha, and then I calculated using the exterior angle of a triangle, and then I got alpha to be 31. Then substituted into the equation this one, and then I got the gradient to be 6/10, which simplifies to 3/5 to 2 decimal places. Okay, so that means the equation, now using this one, the equation is going to be y minus -4, which now gives me y plus 4 equals to 3/5 x minus 2, which is this one, x minus -2, which gives me plus 2. And then when you simplify, remember your equation, you can't leave it here. You have to simplify it to y is equals to mx plus c, which is what we have here. So I've just written a little note there that just remember all three angles must be there. You must have the angle between the two lines, and then you must have the inclination of both lines that are meeting at that point for you to be able to answer such questions. So don't forget, you need all three all three angles. So here find the inclination of the line from the diagram, and then use that inclination to find the gradient. Okay, let's look at exam type questions. Okay, the first one says find the angle between y equals to 2x plus 3 and y equals to negative 2x plus 3, and then y equals to x minus a half. Now remember, this can be written anyhow. They could have written y plus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. You always have to remember that it has to sit in this format. It has to be written in this format. So if it is not written like that, you have to rewrite it so that you can be able to pick your gradient nicely. Okay, so the first thing that I did was to draw a diagram according to the gradients. This gradient says that the line is decreasing, so that's what I did, and its y-intercept is at 3, so I indicated there. And then this one has a positive gradient, so it's going to be an increasing line, which is that one. So because all of them say y, so that's why I had to now indicate which one is which. So from each I get that the gradient. So m here is 1 and m there is -2. So the angle that we are looking for is theta, the angle between them. So I calculated beta, and then I indicate beta here, which is the inclination of the decreasing line, and then alpha, the inclination of the increasing line. So then I calculate alpha and beta. So tan beta is equal to 1 because the gradient, tan alpha, because the gradient of this line is 1. So alpha is then going to be 45, and then beta, the gradient is negative, so that means I need to find first reference angle. Remember, if you have a negative here, you first need to find the reference angle. So reference angle is 60, and remember, when you do the reference angle, it has to be positive here, and then you get 63.43, and then you use that to find the actual beta by subtracting from 180. So beta is then going to be 116. Now if you check, what we actually mean is that this reference angle is this one in here, because both these angles make 180 degrees. So anyway, that's story for another day. So beta is equals to 116.57. So therefore theta is then going to be 116.457 minus 45 by the exterior angle of a triangle. Then theta comes out as 71.57. Okay, let's look at the third example. The question, right, the red parts, I included them as I was doing the question. So this initial question is the one in green. Okay, the equation of AB is given as this. So you see here the equation has been given in this format. So in J, if it is like this, it's an indication that you must first fix this. Okay, the question says find the gradient of CD and find the equation of CD. Okay, in a normal test situation, the question would just jump straight to the find the equation of CD. So now you must know that you must find the gradient of CD before you can find the equation of CD. So this is not going to be mentioned. You have to figure it out for yourself. Okay, so if you check here, remember I said you need three. You need your perfect triangle like that, and you need your all three angles. So now if you check here, if I close this up without the red 45, the other 45 was outside, so we need to bring it inside there so that we can have our perfect triangle and we can have our three angles. Okay, so this is 45 by vertically opposite angles. Okay, so you need to indicate that because it wasn't in the diagram. Please don't forget that anything that you input on the diagram which was not initially there, you need to write it down because there will be marks allocated to that. Okay, so I have transferred that 45 to there. Then now I can start answering my question. AB, I can find the inclination. I can find the inclination of AB using the equation. Okay, so I first fix the equation. It gives me y equals to 3 over 5x plus 1, and then the gradient is 3 over 5. Then I can find the equation, the alpha there. So alpha is 30.96, and then that means now beta, the exterior angle, is therefore going to be 30.96 plus 45, and then I get the beta. Now why do I need beta? Beta is the inclination of CD, and if I have the inclination of CD, I'll be able to calculate the gradient of CD. So if anything talks about CD, it means I must either have the gradient of CD or I must have the inclination of CD. Okay, so gradient of CD is then going to be tan beta, and then you put that into your calculator, and then CD comes out as 4 to 2 decimal places. Okay, then now once you have that, you can calculate the equation. So y minus, I use this coordinate that I'm given. So it's y minus 4 equals to 4 times x minus 5, which then gives me y, which is equals to 4x minus 16. And then I have my equation. So these are types of questions that you can get in a test where you must now be able to get your perfect triangle like that, where you must have the angle at the top and then these two, or you'll have this and that to find that one, depending on what the question is all about. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Please do exercise 6, number 1 EF, and then do number 4, and then also do exercise the revision exercise on page 80 to number 2. Thank you.